Well, let's talk about something that's happened to you lately. Copyright trolls are targeting authors and bloggers. You said you got hit for the fourth time
The
recently?
fourth time. I've been hit now 4 times by copyright trolls, and this is a new basically, it's a new grift that's been enabled by a law passed in Germany. So Germany now has very draconian copyright laws, and there is one particular law firm in Germany that's doing nothing but harassing American website owners, which applies to American authors. And the worst thing you can do with a copyright troll is ignore it. So here's how the attack works. I'll walk you through what it looks like, because I've been hit by several different companies, and I'll walk you through several different defenses that you can use to protect yourself. Because I'm now basically harvesting them for XP. I'm using different defenses to see how to handle it. So here's what you don't do. You get an email from somebody claiming that they have a copyright on such and such image that you used on your website. And if you ignore it, they can go to court against you and get a summary judgment against you. And now you have a court going after you, or they have court authorized authority to come after you for money. Worst possible scenario, especially because almost everything they're doing is shady. And if you push back in any way, you will win. But you don't want to hire an attorney for hundreds of dollars if you can avoid it. And often what they'll say, the email will be like, you've got this photo on your website. It's a violation of our copyright. We have evidence of you doing it. We're going to come after you for $20,000, or you can pay us $900 or $1,500 right now, and we'll make it all go away.
Right.
It's very much a like organized crime style attack. And my Texan anti-bully hair is just like go up, and I'm
You don't
like
paying
I will
protection
pay
money, do
every
you?
penny that you're wanting to extort from me to a lawyer to keep you from getting it.
I
So
will burn us all down.
in order for them to actually get a judgment against you, the copyright itself, okay, first off, I'm not a lawyer. So this is what I've understand researching this and talking with lawyers. This is not meant to be a replacement for you talking to your own lawyer, but hopefully it can help you ask a real lawyer more intelligent questions. But from my understanding of copyright law, for them to get statutory damages, they have to have registered the copyright within, I think, 3 months of the content's creation. And so very few stock photos actually have registered copyrights. It's more likely if it's with the Associated Press or Reuters, but like your iStock photo, like most of these aren't registered copyrights, which means this threat, they can't come after, if they can't come after you for statutory damages, they can only come after you for actual damages, and it's very difficult for them to prove actual damages in a court of law, which means the threat in the email is a hollow threat unless you ignore the email. Then they can get a summary judgment against you. And so one defense, and this is the one way I did it the first time when I got hit with the first attack, I talked to an attorney. He sent a letter, and he handled it for me, and he CC'd me on everything. I was able to watch what he did, and he said, he kept asking in different ways, we want to know that you're representing the registered copyright holder, which was a kind of a hack, because anybody could claim to be representing the copyright holder, and it's not valid, right? And some of this is just a straight up grift, where whoever took the photo, the stock photo, didn't even give them permission to harass website owners and authors on their behalf. It's just a pure scam. But some of these may be legitimate, but the real thing is the registered copyright holder, because it was his way of saying, is this copyright registered? Do you have a leg to stand on? He kept asking that question over and over again. They're sending certified letters back and forth, and finally they went away, because this whatever stock photo or comic or whatever wasn't a registered copyright. But in the process of experiencing that, I learned about this wonderful protection that Americans have called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or the DMCA. So how the process is supposed to work is they don't come and threaten to extort you for money. They ask you to take the offending material off of your website. And then you can challenge and say, no, I think this is fair use, because there's a whole other line of defense called fair use that you can use. You go back and forth, and none of it involves the courts. None of it involves big sums of money passing back and forth. And if you register as a DMCA registered agent, they can't come after you for statutory damages until they've already exhausted that back and forth process. And so I was like, how much does it cost to become a DMCA registered agent? I look it up, and it costs, wait for it, $6 a year. It's basically free. And so another way that you can defend yourself is becoming a DMCA registered agent, paying the $6 a month, getting yourself in the DMCA database, putting a DMCA clause in the terms of service at the bottom of your website. AI can write this for you. And this is another way I used to defend myself, which was saying for DMCA takedown requests, please follow the procedures on the DMCA. And I would just send them to the privacy policy. Even though if they go to that page, it basically tells them to email me, but to email me with a certain subject line. And I knew that if learned that if they go to that page, they'll just leave it alone. Because once they realize that you're a legit DMCA protected website, they realize there's no juice in the squeeze, and they'll stop harassing you. Because this was key. Because the third way to protect yourself is to give them the license from the stock photo that you bought. Because all of this typically comes from stock photos. So I was getting harassed for stock photos that I had legally purchased. And so the second way I handled it was I went to the stock photo website, I looked up the license, and I sent it to them. And that worked. And then like 3 weeks later, they hit me for another stock photo on a different blog. And that was when I was like, I don't want to keep doing this. This is really irritating. I have hundreds and hundreds of blog posts, hundreds of stock photos, and I don't want to have to keep proving to some random law firm in Germany that I purchased these images legally. We have troops in Germany. Germany doesn't have troops here. Why am I even bothering with these people? So the second time I did the DMCA, or the third time, first time I did with the lawyer, didn't pay out anything because they weren't a registered agent. Second time I sent the license because I had the license. The third time I had the license, but I didn't tell them that. I just said, deal with the DMCA. And when I did that, that particular company has never contacted me again. So they basically just flagged my website in their system as a DMCA protected website. I haven't heard from them again. So I got hit with another copyright troll just last week. And I did the same thing. It's like, please follow the DMCA takedown procedures on this page. Sent them to the page that had the clause. I was a DMCA registered agent. Haven't heard back. So I may have to go some more rounds, but this is really abusive. It's not a problem for stuff on social media or stuff on Substack. It's only a problem with your own website. It's a way for the big guys to oppress the little guys. And it makes me really angry, but I am very thankful to be an American. It would be way worse if I was in Germany and had to be under the terrible German laws. My ancestors left Germany for a reason.
You have to understand that the way predators work is they're not looking to burn a lot of energy for the benefit they're looking for. So, I love this line from the Lion King cartoon. Can I just pick off one of the little sick ones? That's exactly how these guys are looking. Okay, if you're DMCA, I mean, a predator doesn't want to come after you because now they have to work for it. And predators don't want to work. They don't want to run. They don't want to zig. They don't want to zag. They don't want to do all that. They want easy prey. Okay.
And that's exactly how it is, because the process is entirely automated. Because you click the link, you're not interacting with their lawyers. You're going to a shopping cart, effectively, where you buy protection from this company. But if you buy protection one time, you will never be rid of these people.
Exactly. So just be, it's the same deal. A female wearing a gun is unlikely to be mugged. Okay, predators just aren't going to go after that.
A male wearing a gun too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a spectrum. Okay, there's different levels. I'm a self-defense guy. There's levels of threat. Okay, typically females are the ones that are targeted, and if a female is carrying, she just moved up the threat chain, and somebody's looking at that's not a sick one. I'm not going after that. I don't want to get shot today. So protect yourself.
There's one other protection I forgot to mention. And that is just don't use stock photos and don't use photos from newspapers. Only use AI generated images. And so this is where copyright law is really hurting artists. So if you're an artist with a copyright, now that there's these copyright trolls using your copyright on your art to harass people who may have legally purchased your art, they have a huge incentive to instead have an AI image made in your style that now, because it's a unique creation, is completely separate. There's no trolls going after people generating stuff with AI. There's no law firms going after AI generated stuff. It's only people working with humans. And if you want to protect human created stuff, we've got to do something about these trolls, because these trolls create a huge disincentive, because it's already easier and cheaper to get GPT to make me an image than it is to go to a stock photo website. But now, if I have GPT make me the image, not only is it cheaper and easier, but also there's less risk down the road of a copyright troll coming after me for using this image. It's totally broken.